right, there we go. Hey everyone, thanks for checking out this little video. I'm on, and Derek's cracking me up before I can even get say hi to everyone. Thanks, Derek. My name's Shane. Thanks for taking the time to check out this video. I'm streaming it on two channels. The Scout Life channel, which is my old channel, which was focused on camping, hiking, backpacking, EDC type stuff. And then when I started doing a lot of portable ham radio stuff on that, I spun off to the Scout 75 channel, which I'm sure the majority of you are watching me from. Hey, Tariq, how's it going, bud? But we're going back and trying to breathe some life in the old Scout Life channel. And we're bringing back the idea that I started a while ago, which was do a monthly live stream like this where I and whoever else joins me do a little live unboxing and first impressions of a EDC item, where it's a flashlight, a knife, or multi-tool, or the whole gamut of things, and then use that in the rotation exclusively for a month, and then come back and see what we really think about it, and then pick out another item and do that again. So also I want to thank Adam, my Buy Me a Coffee member, who's been a member for over a year now. Thanks, Adam. I appreciate that. I don't do a whole lot of promotion of the Buy Me a Coffee thing. It's hit or miss if I put stuff there, but I try to do some vlogs and stuff, and this year I'm going to put more effort into that very soon. All the content there is free. I put some additional stuff there once in a while. Obviously, if I get more than Dennis to join, then I'll do some member exclusive stuff. But for now, everything there is free, and I'm not trying to make this a career. So going forward, there will always be tons and tons of free stuff there. So enough rambling on about me. Say hi to my friends Mike and Greg. Quick go around, and we'll start off with Mike. This is your first time on. How you doing, bud?
I'm good. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it. For anyone, or all three of you watching. No, I was kidding. For everyone watching, like Mike N2MAK got started with a ham radio channel similar to Shane, doing a lot of portable stuff. But before ham radio, it was EDC and knives that were my big passion and interest and whatnot, and really excited to be here and join the discussion. I just like you, I've been carrying the Civivi for the last month, from the day after I saw the live stream last month. So looking forward to talking about it.
Cool. And how about you, Greg? How you doing? What's new? Where are you from? All that stuff.
Yeah, I'm Mike N2MAK. No, I'm Greg, KDMUG, and yeah, same old stuff, nothing going on. Let's get into it.
All right. But I saw Mike had a whiskey glass up. What you drinking tonight?
So yeah, and I got a refill, so perfect timing. I am drinking scotch. So let's see if we can get that in focus. I got horrible green screen, but the OA Ardbeg or whatever. It's a very peaty one. I hadn't had scotches in a while. I love all kinds of brown liquor, but like I hadn't had scotches in a while. And in the winter, I went out to a liquor store and I didn't know liquor stores did this, but would at least in New York. But they gave me some samples and were letting me taste some stuff. I guess I just got a really cool salesperson, but I was like, yeah, I'm thinking about trying some scotches, and he's like, what do you like, this or that? And so I got that. That's a very peaty one, very smoky, peaty. But then he gave me another one, which I'm not drinking tonight, which is not very peaty at all, not smoky. I'm still trying to decide what I like. They both go down good. Like I ain't gonna complain, especially after one or two, but it's good. I like it.
Yeah, I just recently, like in the last 4 or 5, for a little while now, I've been diving into scotch. I never had much interest in it before until about right before COVID, and then somebody was always bragging about how they like it, and I thought, I think I've just had some of the cheap bar rail stuff. It's like it tastes like a campfire. I don't really want to deal with that. But then I kind of eased my way into it with some good recommendations, and I like the variety in Scotch because you get, the Isla's like Ardbeg and Lafroig, which are just peat bombs,
Yeah.
but you get some other ones like Glenfiddich that are, I think that's a Highland, or is it the other one? But anyway, it's almost a fruity taste to them, and there's a lot of variety, and I kind of like that. So
Yeah.
that's cool. I've never had that one before. I've just had the regular Ardbeg or Ardbeg or however you pronounce it. The Scottish, you just kind of mumble. And I like that a lot. So I have to keep an eye out for that one.
I like it, and if you like the peaty flavor, I don't think it's one of those peat bombs. I wouldn't know because I don't have that much experience, but it's not like overwhelming. But it's good. I kind of like that. So
yeah, I don't have a ton of experience either because my area Scotch isn't very popular, so you got pretty small selection, but there's still a little variety. And for me, I'm just drinking my standard house beer, Leinenkugel's
Nice.
original, just your basic lager.
Yeah, waiting for Shane to bring me some.
Yeah.
We don't have that in Indiana. We have the Leinenkugel's. What is it? The red.
Sure.
Leinenkugel's red or whatever, which is pretty good, but I still want to taste the original.
Yeah.
And everything else is like, it's just the summer shit,
Yeah.
Gross.
Yep.
The
we
Pledge.
get out here
I want
too.
to taste like Pledge and summer shandy. I don't need lemon in my beer.
Yeah. All right. You drinking anything fun tonight, Greg?
Just my go-to, High Life.
High Life. Yep.
And like I said, drinking the Benchmark. I like to stretch my drinking money, so I get the cheapest, biggest bottle I could get. This is for $20. You can't beat it.
Oh no!
And once that's done, I go to my $13 bottle of Oak Crow.
Okay.
So that's next in line.
Well, once your taste buds have been killed off, you go to the Old Crow.
Yeah, and then I shoot it from this nice fancy shot glass that Shaq and Dan got for me with the Second Amendment written on there.
Fun. Well, pretty much every year we do a camping trip together, Greg. So we'll have to work that out this summer or this fall, and I'll be sure to bring some lines for you. All right. Well, should we dive into the topic at hand? We've all been carrying the Civivi
Elementum.
I was trying to adjust my camera and talk at the same time, and I couldn't do either. The Elementum here, this is funny because last month it was just Greg and I mentioned that Mike is in the knives and he probably has one of these. And Mike, why don't you finish that story? We were talking about that before.
Yeah, so I can't remember what was going on. My son might have had basketball, soccer. It's like if I'm not working, I'm a glorified Uber driver with the kids going from one thing to another. But I caught up. I watched the stream before I went to bed, and I was like, oh my gosh, there's one knife that I have, and I as much as I preach, use your stuff, whether it's radios, knives, tools, gear, whatever, use your stuff so that you know how to use it. There was one knife that I had that was, my safe queen, and it was a Civivi Elementum, but it was because it was the Blade HQ Desert Warrior Edition. So there it is with the sprinkles
donut
and the blue powder coated blade.
Oh wow!
Oh yeah, that's sweet.
So
I like that.
I paid $52 for it. I got it. It was the first time I ever did a knife drop where as soon as it was released, I'm sitting there clicking refresh. I looked at the receipt August 2022. So almost 2.5 years ago now, going on 3. And I played with it for a minute or two, like when I first got it, and then that was it. It just stayed in the drawer with some of the other, knives, and I never rotated it into my collection.
Mhm.
My apprehension was, and I didn't mention this in the beginning, I'm in New York, and this was the only D2 blade that I have, and I was a little concerned. Not having D2 and something that's not stainless. I was concerned in this environment, and but it'd be similar to you, Shane, too. I mean, you're in Wisconsin, so you have winters, you have lakes, you're in a wet, humid environment at times, and so that's why I never really carried it. I toyed with it once or twice, and that was it. And so when I saw the stream, I was like, oh my gosh, this is it. This is a sign.
Yeah.
As much as like I said, I use your stuff. I'm like, all right, I'm going to carry this and I have every single day since that stream and whatnot. But yeah, that's what brought me here today.
Cool.
The donut knife.
It was funny because I believe during the video we gave you a shout out, and I said, yeah, Mike, if you ever want to hop on, let me know. And I think the next day, you got the DM going, you won't believe this. And I'm like,
yeah, you can't make this shit up.
I know. Yeah, that was about it. So yeah, here in Wisconsin, it's the winters get a little brutal. It gets humid in the summer. It's it is what it is. But I think we touched base on the last video where D2. I'm familiar with that for my profession in the plastic molding. D2 tool steel is used not too often anymore, but it's an old tool steel. It's nice to work with, and it holds an edge extremely well. But the one downside is it doesn't have a lot of resistance to rust and everything. It will rust up on you. So knives of D2, in my opinion, do need a little maintenance, but it's basically just keep them clean and put a little oil on it and you'll be fine. And Mike, I think you're the only one that has the powder coat blade. Does that seem to hold up pretty well? Here, I can embiggen you again.
Yeah, let's see here. It doesn't help that it's blue.
Yeah,
there we go. It seems to.
Blue.
I haven't noticed any scratches on it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's been pretty light use the last month. I've opened stuff and had it on me. I made sure it came with I don't know if yours came with like one of like the cloths. Yeah. I put that right next to the bed and I wiped it down almost every night and to make sure, just with paranoia and stuff. I generally use food grade mineral oil on stuff. I haven't put anything on there yet, but it's I haven't noticed anything on the edges or anything, and any signs of like a corrosion or anything. So, but it's only been a month.
All right.
I've gotten it wet though, so
sorry, I had a quick step away because you reminded me of one of the topics or one of the items I was supposed to bring up.
I got a couple things real quick. So I had my the microfiber towel next to my bed. My wife's like, "What are you doing when I'm not here? Why is this thing used it one time and it's just crusty?" But no, I'm just joking. Get back to the Shane. Sorry, I'm going off the rails already.
Yeah, well, somebody's got to. The one thing when you talk about using the food grade mineral oil, I gotta look for that. I don't do this for all my knives, but my pocket knives, sometimes they do end up being eating utensils. Everyone, I think I joked about it that with my pocket knives, even though I do a lot of videos of backpacking and stuff like that, I don't do much bushcraft. With my knives, they pretty much dispatch a lot of Amazon boxes. They open letters.
Yeah.
And they'll cut a hunk of cheese or summer sausage or occasionally a steak. So for the 3 or 4 knives that I carry in my pocket often, I will actually use cooking oil for
Okay.
for the oil. Right now I'm more health conscious, so I use avocado oil, and it actually works pretty well. It keeps a nice. It's. I just kind of went on that side thought. We're all gun guys. I remember a few years ago when Frog Lube came out, and it was the hot stuff, and everybody wanted to use Frog Lube for their guns because it was developed by a Navy SEAL or a Green Beret or whatever, and it was food grade, and you could eat it, and it's all safe and everything, and everybody
I
thought
guess if it's Frog, it'd be Navy SEAls probably.
Yeah, no,
I didn't know that, but I've heard of Frog Lube, but that makes sense.
Well, frogs are green, and Special Forces guys have Green Berets, so that could be there too. You might be hopping to a conclusion on where Frog Lube came from, Greg.
Yeah, but I don't know. I just watched 5 seasons of Still Team, and they're called Frogmen. So, I am not in the military, but I watch TV.
But I think you're right. I think it was a Navy SEAL, and of course, all the tactical dudes switched to Frog Lube, and it's the greatest thing. And then people found out that its base, its base ingredient was coconut oil.
Yeah, that's one thing I was going to say is I don't have avocado oil in the house, but my wife does use coconut oil. Yep. And I know that's, it's good for guns too. It deals with temperature, and you could use it, and it holds up to the test. So, but
as soon as it was, coconut oil, there's a lot of people in the gun forums who are just like, oh, what a ripoff! This coconut. No. I'm like, dudes, they said it's food grade, but it's a food grade oil. It's going to be like a vegetable oil, or in Mike's case, a mineral oil.
Another good thing that the mineral oil is good for, which I've used it on, is if you have wooden handles for any knives, it can be good for that too, for treating and conditioning and stuff. So,
sure.
My father was a chef, and he passed away a while back, like maybe like 15 plus years. But he went to the CIA, not that CIA, the Culinary Institute of America. Sure. And then we found the knives that he used when he was in school. And they were in pretty rough shape. They'd been in like a drawer in the basement at the house forever. And I did the best I could to get rid of some of the corrosion and clean some up. And I did a decent job on some. Some were just beyond reconditioning. But the mineral oil is one of the things that I used on the wooden handles for some of those and stuff. And that was I also have, for a couple of knives with wooden handles, they said you can use like some kind of like wax, like a beeswax sort of to help protect it from the water and reduce swelling and some stuff like that. But the mineral oil too, like other than just cleaning it up, lubrication and stuff like that, it can be good for the handles.
I was gonna say with wooden handles, maybe like a linseed oil would be good too, especially if you're in the bushcrafting side of things. You probably have linseed oil for your axes and stuff, so that's cool. Your brother's here, Greg.
Yeah. That's so my legs don't chafe.
Sure. Oh, okay. Well, here, let me switch cameras, and I'll do my takes on the last month. As you can see, no real damage. There's a few nicks on it because it's been my everyday knife for a month now. Like I said, I dispatched a heck of a lot of Amazon boxes and letters with this. Sliced some cheese. I even ate a ribeye steak with it, and everything's held up nice. The edge is still nice and sharp. Everything is still nice and tight on this thing. I like well, I'm a sucker for G10 scales and grips on things, and as it feels good. I said in the beginning, I'm not the biggest fan of the liner lock, although there's nothing wrong with it. It's just not my favorite, but I'm getting used to that. I really like the action of this. This is my first real flipper, and that is just sweet. I like that. Feels good in the hand. I don't get any hot spots from the clip. The clip holds it in the pocket really nice. And the other thing I like is this thing is fairly narrow, and it takes up no space in my pocket. The two Spider Co's that I carry normally, they're a bit wider, and it can get in the way a little bit when I'm reaching for my wallet, because I keep this in my front right pocket with my wallet. Stays out of the way, so I'm pretty happy with it so far. And of course, I boogered that. One thing I would like is if there's more of a finger choil, but that's just me because I got a little bit bigger hands. A finger choil would be nice for choking up, but again, it's a pocket knife. I'm not doing anything too crazy. Overall, for the price, I like it.
And yours is the green, OD green, correct?
Yep. Yeah, I don't have. I still I get a light for my overhead camera, so it looks a little bit better. But yeah, it's OD green. It looks nice. The silver finish on the metal. I kind of like the two tone with the hardware being black and the belt clip being black. But yeah, it's nothing fancy. There's not a lot of jumping on everything and fancy cutouts or anything. It's just a basic knife, and that's nice too because I work in an office setting, and this doesn't scream, "Oh my God, he has a knife."
Yeah.
It's got
The one thing,
great clip.
yeah, the one thing with that is, when I use it in the office, I typically don't flip it. So if there's a fingernail or a finger catch there to open it, it'd be a little nicer, but that's minor. So my nitpicks were minor when I brought it up. I think I brought out that I just not a fan of a liner lock. Again, that's mostly personal preference. A finger choil would be nice.
I was thinking, you're
and that's about
pulling
it.
out like what is it, an old timer's knife where you got to pull it out with your fingertip?
Yep.
I don't think I own any gun or any knives with the finger trial in it anymore. An old timer's knife. That's about it.
Yeah.
So it's a callback. That's good.
Oh, you mean like the slip joints and stuff? I like those.
He's talking about the like where it has like the trial cut out.
Yeah,
Just
the nail nick.
Pull it up.
Yeah, just a nail nick.
Yeah.
I know it's a little old fashioned, but
yeah,
it'd just be a little nicer to not be flicking it in the office.
Mhm.
Most people don't care, but I just try to keep a low profile, on all that kind of stuff.
Well, I'll go into mine, and that's one thing. So my favorite EDC is I don't, Mike, you might have heard of it. Shane didn't. It was the Ganzo knife off Amazon. Just Chinese made D2 steel, G10 grips. Very nice, but it's a flipper only like these. So if you want to open it, it's a flipper. I like the option of having the thumb stud as well. So flipper and a thumb stud. It wouldn't take much to add that on there, but it gives you a couple ways to open it. So that's my gripe about this. And mine is the gray. I don't know how well it's picking up, but
try it again. It's kind of a putty gray.
Yeah, it's a lighter gray. But with the stainless color, it looks, I think it blends in really well. I went with this color only because you got the OD green. I didn't want black because that was the option, and then there was a clear, and then there was a maroon, and Norm bought the maroon, so I didn't want to get the same. And when I got this, I was happy that it looked as good as it did, because on the picture it wasn't. But so I've been carrying it for a month. This is the only knife I've used.
Mm-hmm.
Works great. You know, it actually, like, since I was testing it and thinking about it, like, I didn't have to use it as much as I thought, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess that's kind of your normal EDC stuff, right? Not hard use stuff.
Yeah.
Cutting some tape, cutting some straps, whatever, or some wire ties. It worked. Held the edge. No big deal. So just the use of my hand, you know, with my big, you know, sausage fingers hand, this is about the minimum size of a pocket knife I'm good with using. I could, you know, I could deploy it. Everything's good. I could close it without cutting myself. So this is the minimum size that I'm good with.
Mm-hmm.
And then everything held up great. The only thing I would say, you know, just sitting here noticing, is I'm going to Loctite these screws back here, because it's 2 screws, you know, vertically, but my clip's getting loose. It's getting loose, and I can't tell you how my wife lost a pocket clip, you know, using one of my Spydercos, and another one of my knives that just had the 2 strapping down vertical screws, lost the clip off of it. So I'd almost say anytime now, if I get a knife, I'm going to Loctite those screws in, because, you know, I haven't been torquing on it or anything, but I just noticed that since we're out here messing with our knives, that just maybe a little bit of Loctite and it's good to go.
Mm-hmm.
But out of all this, you know, everything I said, you know, the dislikes about the size of it being a little bit too small, everything's good on this. I think it's going to be one of my top 3 EDCs. You know, that's how I like it. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and I own a couple of Emerson knives. So, like, I don't go all out, but, you know, I got Kershaw's, Emerson's, Spyderco's, you know, some Gonzo. I definitely have some Chinese knives, but this will definitely be in my top 3.
That's high praises.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't say it, but this kind of goes without saying. I'm very impressed with this knife for being a inexpensive knife. It's really well built for. I mean, bang for the buck. This is right up there. I mean, this is a well built knife. And what did we pay it? We're around 50, $60 for this, if I remember right.
It was right at 50.
Yeah. So
And here's the best thing. They come in these nice cases, which are awesome, right? We showed these on last one. And you know, here's how you know I was joking about that cloth. You know, it wasn't by my bedside. I was joking.
Yeah.
But this material here, man, that's nice. That's a nice case. And I'm never going to put this knife back in there, but, you know, we got to reuse this case somewhere.
Yeah.
But I know, Shane, you were talking about, you know, you love G10. I love G10. You know, I have 1911s, G10 grips.
Mm-hmm.
On the website for Civivi, if that's how you say it, that's how I say it. But they do have one with a micarta style handle, which that's kind of like, I don't know if you guys know much about like firearm grips, VZ grips, and stuff like that. Micarta was kind of like the in between wood and G10 grips on a firearm. And I think they look good. They feel good. I think if I'm going to get another one of these, I'm going to order off the website and get a micarta grip panel for it.
Oops, I brought the wrong screen. There we go. Yeah. Well, first, I want to bring up that Jason had a good comment that depending on location and if it's permissible, I'd have to say I'd prefer a small fixed blade. Gerber makes a couple of cheap ones. Small fixed blades are basically a full tang. Scale grips. The win is really easy to clean, which I agree. Especially Greg with you with your larger hands, a small fixed blade would be kind of a good thing. But here I'll quick bring up Civivi's website, and you can see here they got a whole bunch of different options. This is just the Elementum.
Yeah, that's the mini though. So you can see on the side of that, it doesn't have the second panel of G.
Oh, I'm on the mini.
Yeah, so well, that looks pretty sweet.
Let me search again.
So when you go on the site, you start seeing they actually do like a Tonto blade and everything like that, you know?
Okay, here we go. Flipper 2. I think this is the one we have.
Mm.
No, this one says
That's the button lock one.
yeah, button
That's
lock
the
one.
Elementum 2. Yeah.
Yeah. That's my one complaint would go away if I would have got that.
How much is that? How much is the Elementum 2?
I think on their website it was
Okay, it's a little bit more.
$76.50.
Yeah, I've noticed. I've seen that one on there. So it just depends how much you want to get up into, you know, your knives if that's something you like.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess stuff's getting a little bit higher. I'd hate to see what a Benchmade cost now. You know,
All right.
it used to be not even be that much, but it's getting higher.
Yeah, I'll quit before you know it. I'll get lost on the website. But yeah, there's a bunch of different options for the scales and everything for colors. Man, there's two things that you brought up that I wanted to comment in. Now I forgot. But the one is here. Let me switch my camera around. That's why I had to run away. Yeah, so it comes with this nice little case, and I use it now to carry pins for my office backpack. Normally, I just got the pins in the one pocket, and it fits a couple of Lammies and a Pilot Metro just perfectly. So it's got the nice fake fur inside. So that's one use for that.
For sure. You gotta reuse that. I was thinking about maybe connectors, some BNCs or something, just whatever connectors, throw it in your pack, anything.
Yep, anything small that you want to put in a backpack, that would work out well. Mike, how about you? What's your 30-day review?
Well, it worked fine. My paranoia about the D2 was unfound, at least so far. And like I said, I did get it. I was grilling earlier in the week, and I was using it to open up some packages, hot dogs and burgers and stuff like that by the grill. And so I washed it off with like dish soap, water, and dried it real good with like a micro towel cloth or whatever you call those things. And so far so good. Again, it's only been a month. How this holds up. It'd be interesting to carry this in upstate New York in like July and August when you have the humidity, but so far so good. Here's the problem I have with it, and I thought it was interesting when Greg was talking about having to tighten the screw on the pocket clip, because in 1 month I have had to adjust the pivot on this twice because the centering was getting like so far off to the side, and it wouldn't open quite as easy. You get like those misfires.
Centering.
I just did it. Yeah, I just did it like a day or two ago, but that's like the first time where I've had a knife that, within a month I've had to adjust it twice. The first time I gave it a pass because I was thinking, well, this thing's been sitting in a drawer and hasn't really been used, and now it's finally seeing some action or whatever. But then I had to do it again. I'm like, oh my gosh, really? So it's it is what it is. It's a 5-second fix, just take the torque screw, whatever, and just boom, and it's good to go.
Mine's dead center. So I guess it's what it's like anything else. They're all going to be a little different.
Yep. And it makes me wonder too, knowing that there's a couple differences with this one with just, like the coating and how much, I don't know if anything like that impacts it or not, like they say with, something, everything affects everything. I don't know. It's a minor thing and whatnot, but it's held up fine. It's worked well. And interesting story. And again, you can't make this shit up. Like I'm at Wegmans. If anyone knows what Wegmans is, it's a grocery store, very popular grocery store in Western New York and parts of the East Coast. And I'm there yesterday, and I'm buying beer and snacks. That's it. Like I'm buying the food and the drinks to bring out to Hamvention when I leave tomorrow morning. And I'm in a self checkout, and this guy on the other side of the self checkout goes, "Hey, I'm sorry, I just got to ask, is that a Dessert Warrior in your pocket?" He recognized by the clip and, just a little bit of the pink sticking up. And I was like, "Yeah, it is." He's like, "I've never seen one of those in the wild. Oh my gosh." He's like, "I'm sorry to have to ask. That's a weird question." I was like, "No, I've been carrying it for a month." And I've had this thing for 2 years. I've never touched it. And we got talking about knives for a little bit. And it was like the funniest thing. Like I said,
now he's going out to Hamvention, right?
Yeah. But and I'll just say this, like with the clip, like I work in an office setting, and I often I got to wear dress clothes, suits, things like that. And as much as it, on this one, and you have, like that powder blue, that baby blue, and the pink and everything, and there's not much sticking out, but that blue pocket clip is going to pop, right? When you're wearing navy or khaki dress pants and stuff like that. But no one ever said anything. And I know, like, if I ever did pull this out in the office because we needed to, open up a package or something like that, it's freaking sprinkles, right? Nobody is gonna feel threatened with sprinkles.
Yeah.
There. Oh, sorry, you unbigging me. Yeah. So it's
show me the other side again with the clip and about how much was sticking out of your pocket.
Let's see here.
It'd be
so it's right below those screws.
Yeah. So
it's not much.
Yeah, so basically what's sticking above your hand there is what would have been seen.
Yeah. Not much at all, but
that's the thing is people that get into these niche hobbies.
Yeah.
It's, you could have walked by 10,000 people and they never would have saw it, but the one person that's into it would go. Yeah. I'm that way with like backpacks and stuff where, again, I'm in an office setting and everything like that. And most people have just the Swiss gear, laptop backpack that work gave you with your laptop. And some other people have, their own, whatever, your Eddie Bowers or your Maxpeditions or what have you.
Jansport.
Yep. But I saw one guy, he had the same one that I had, the Tom Ben. And I'm like, and I said the model, he like, how do you, he sees mine, and he's like, oh, and it's the same thing. It just spurred on the conversation of how do you get into that stuff like that too. So
yeah, I'm the same way though. Like if I see pocket clip, someone with a pocket clip or whatever, and I know it's a knife, like I'm gonna look and I'm gonna think like, oh, is that a Spyderco or is that what is it? Is that a Kershaw or and you see if you can, based on what little you see, you can identify it But it's a niche hobby. But when those of us that get into this stuff, you dive right in. And
same way with firearms with me. Just seeing somebody with it in the holster and all you're seeing is the handle. I know what they have. Like that's my main thing is knowing firearms, handguns is my that's a hobby for me. So I like to ask them. Hey, is that this? Is that this model? And they're pretty impressed.
Yep. So back to the Elementum, it seems like it gets a pretty good passing grade from everybody. We all had some minor things. My minor complaints, like I said, the liner lock is mine, and that's a personal preference. you know, I'd like to have some slightly different features, but they're definitely not deal breakers. Everything held up well for me. Mike, yours slipped a little bit out of center, and Greg,
Yeah.
yours loosened up on the belt clip. But you know that those are minor things that happen with all your knives and whatnot. It's just kind of the game. There's no glaring, obviously no failures or you know anything bending or breaking, and no glaring design flaws like a hot spot when you're using it or anything like that. So I think this is a win overall.
Yeah,
I think so. And
one of the things I shouldn't do is use it as a flathead screwdriver, which I've done too many times.
Yeah,
I did do it once with this, and it was fine.
Yeah,
you know, do it with the spine. Don't do it with the blade. You know, but you know, I effed up a $350 Emerson knife doing that at some point, and this didn't do it, but the Emerson did. And also with the blade centering, you know, that $350 Emerson, I have to adjust it weekly. Like it's like I bought it, you know, because I was interested in it. I don't think they're as good as they are. They're built tough, but you know, you have to recenter it, tighten it up. It's all just sucks, you know. For the price, don't do it. I guarantee I could buy something, you know. Civivi makes plenty of knives. I'm sure they have one in $100 price range that would compare. So
yeah, I have a couple Civivis and I've been really happy with them. And I think that you get a good mix of quality at like a affordable price point. And I know when I did the knives for POTA video, I kind of mentioned, I think almost everything I have is sub $100. That lets me buy more. But it's you know, for $50, and I paid 52 for this when I got it. I could sell it for, you know, twice as much because it was like a special edition. But like it's a $50 knife, and it's got, you know, a good steel that's gonna have good edge retention. It checks a lot of personal boxes for me in that it's 3 inches or less. Because, and I mentioned this before, the city that I work in has a 3-inch carry law. So, and that's if you encounter those in certain municipalities, you know, 3 inches tends to be like one of those, you know, lower thresholds. So it checks that box. So I don't have to worry wherever I go. I have some knives that are, and it's when you get the sausage hands and big hands, like I got, you know, just like Greg, this is at the lower end. Like anything smaller is, I'm going to have to put a lanyard on there. You know, it's something else to get a little bit more purchase, but it fits just fine in the hand for the basic stuff, the day-to-day, and it meets my requirements. And it's not anything that's going to be overly tactical or it's going to be threatening in a workplace environment. So, and I carry knives to work every day. At least one is always on me, and you know, this is perfectly fine. So
yeah, and you know, I brought it up on the first impressions video. The build quality of this thing is really outstanding, just far as the quality control. If you look at the scales, how centered they are. I mean, the edge where the frame's out around it is all nice and uniform. There's no dings, or you know, the finish on it is good. There's no dings and dents on the edges. I mean, it's a well constructed knife. I mean, it's really well built. It does not feel like a piece of Chinesium. You know, it's a nice, and the action is fantastic. And let's see, we're going on now a good solid hour and 45 minutes of me flipping this thing and handling it on a live stream.
It's only been 45 minutes.
Well, I'm talking about the first one too.
Oh, okay.
But total on air, I've been handling this thing and I haven't cut myself, so I'm Probably shouldn't have said that. I'm gonna put the knife down for the rest of the video.
Yours doesn't bite. Yeah.
No, yeah.
I would say if I wanted to compare this, and I was toying with it before, and I wouldn't be surprised if you guys have one of these, like Ontario Rat 2 or Ontario Rat 2.
Yep.
I don't have one, but I know it.
It's and this was one of the first ones I got when I got into the hobby. And this is the AUS 8 steel. So this is the stainless, and they sell it obviously with the D2, and a lot of people used to preach about the the R2 D2, they'd call it, for the Rat 2 D2 steel. Obviously got the AUS 8 and stuff, but I mean, when I got this, I think it was like $30-something or whatever, and it probably would have been comparable, like 50-something to get the D2 version. But this is the only thing that I can think of that's comparable, both in size and handle, blade, and whatnot. There's a little bit, the differences in the blade profile and everything, but ultimately this might be like these might be FRN scales, more the plasticky.
Yep.
But that's about the closest I can think of for a comparison. And if you were to pick a Rat 2 up in D2 steel, but Ontario, and I'm in New York, it stinks because Ontario a couple years ago shut down, and so Ontario was in New York, like K-Bar and then Utica Knife Company, and so it kind of stinks when you see companies like that go under. I think the brand got sold to somewhere in Virginia.
I was going to ask if that was something that happened, because I remember hearing that.
Yeah, both Ontario and Utica. I think Utica is still making stuff, but the factory, and I just drove by. I was in Utica this past weekend. I think that got sold and they downsized, and but Ontario, they sold the stock and the brand to somewhere in, I think I want to say Virginia, but it's still somewhere in the U.S. But some things were manufactured a lot overseas, like some knife manufacturers. But then there were some premium models of things that were done in the U.S. or in this case here in New York. But it was too bad. But the Rat 2 is a fantastic budget knife.
Yep, I got one. It's out in my teardrop camper. I have it in the galley there. Just has a knife, just a utility knife to have in the galley.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, it's a great knife. In fact, when I was going to reboot this EDC channel, I bought that mainly just because that is like the bow thing of ham radio, or the Glock 19 of the gun world. Is if you're in the hobby, you probably, if you don't own one, you at least seen it enough to know.
I don't own it, but
Yep. You don't own it, but you've seen enough of them.
That was the bee's knees,
Yep. So that was going to be like it is kind of my ruler, and I'm kind of kicking myself because that's the whole reason I got the knife. And Mike was smart enough to bring his for a comparison. I'm thinking, why don't I have it here right on my table?
Yeah, I didn't bring any of my knives in here.
Nope.
I sent my son to go get it earlier. I was like, and it was right by my bed because I was comparing both of them the other day, and I knew right where it was. I'm like, go get the Rat 2. I sent him a text. I'm like, it's right by the bed. So
I am this is how unprepared I am. My whole plan, because this always sneaks up on me, is all right, Tuesday night, I don't have anything going on. I'm gonna watch, speaking of ham radio, I'll watch the Ham Radio Clubhouse live stream, and I'll make sure I get all my notes and everything ready for this. Well, I woke up this morning thinking it was Tuesday, because all day yesterday I thought it was Monday. Apparently I had 2 Mondays. I got distracted. I missed the Clubhouse because I thought it was Monday. And also I had some I raise quail now, and I got a ship. Well, that's probably what started, because I had a shipment of quail eggs coming in for hatching that were supposed to come in on Monday.
Mhm.
They got delayed and they came in yesterday. So that's probably how I thought it was Monday. So
Okay.
the eggs came in, got everything. So I spent the evening prepping them in the incubator and everything, and blah 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 blah. Got up this morning going, all right, it's Tuesday. I'm already on my way to work. I'm already thinking, making a mental list of the stuff that I should try to figure out and everything. And then I'm driving by the neighborhood. I'm like, why do my neighbors have the garbage out? Shit, it's Wednesday.
Yeah.
It's today. So, needless to say, it was a long day at work, and then nothing got done. So I came terribly, terribly unprepared. Yeah, it's not all timers, Norm. It's just some timers. Sometimes I don't know what I'm doing. So yeah, but next time I will be more prepared. So speaking of next time, that was following this format. We brought Mike in, and yeah, we're about halfway through. Or
Yeah. So wait, before you get to next thing you say, what do you grade this thing at?
what's our scale?
You gotta have a weird scale, right?
I know it can't be like 1 through 5 or 1 through 10. It can't be. It's got to be. Yeah, we have to think of something.
Well, we'll come up with it again, but
Let's
just
grade
give
it
a
in
thumbs
proof.
up for
Let's
now.
grade it in proof. Is it 80 proof? Is it 120 proof? Is it?
Oh, that works for me.
There you go.
I'll give it a 86 proof.
86 proof.
We're talking bourbon. We're
Yeah.
on the bourbon scale.
Yep.
Okay, I give it 86 proof.
So that's a scale. That's basically a scale of 60 to 120.
Yeah.
I would give it
86 for me because that's kind of my go-to. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like 80 is my go-to, I guess. But because I drink cheap shit.
Yeah.
But 86, that's fantastic. But that's kind of like your makers or something like that, right?
Yeah. Oh, one of the whiskey. That's how he grades his whiskeys. Is a Scottish guy too. It's gonna bug me. Ralphie.com. But yeah, I would say I would probably give it. That's tough.
Yeah, maybe it's not a good scale, but let's go for it for the show.
Well, maybe we'll make up a new scale each time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to go a little higher. I'm going to give it a 90 proof. It's on its own, it's not that spectacular of a knife, but when you put in the price that you pay for this thing, for $50, for a $50 knife, this is a 90 proof knife. That's where I'm going with 90 proof.
What do you say, Mike?
I'm going to go with 80. It's 80. You can't go wrong with this. This is a good knife. The two things that I haven't done with it is anything hard use, and I haven't sharpened it.
Yeah. It's
straight out of the box. And most of my knives are going to be, some version of a stainless, or they're going to be, some kind of a carbon. The D2 I haven't done, and I do. Mine are all manually. I have a workshop or work sharp sharpener, and it's a manual one. It's you set up the triangle and just kind of go down, and then I have stones as well. A lot of my stuff. I'm a big Swiss Army knife fan, and I mean you can sharpen those things on rocks or whatever. They'll go dull. They won't retain the edge as quick because they're softer steels, but you can sharpen them pretty easy. D2 it's a new steel for me, so I got to use it some more, wear it down, see what it takes to wear it down. but then what it takes to get that edge back on. And you know, I'm curious with the coating on this too, like how much I screw
Take
that
off.
up, you know, and if it ends up with pinstripes along with you know, the sparkles and the glitter and everything else. But no, I think it's solid, and it's good quality. It's not anything over the top fancy, but it I think it checks a lot of boxes where you get you know, quality manufacturing, a good steel, lots of varieties. If you want to upgrade handles or want different colors, you got all these options. You're not just force fed one or two things. I think it's a solid 80 proof.
All right.
Good deal. I'd say
what I
a couple things.
Well, before you do, the boss says he likes grading it in proof, so we'll stick with that for a while.
I think the next thing we got to grade it on is bra sizes.
Yeah.
You know, I think that'd be good.
Well, that gets
We
very
can do that
subjective.
tomorrow.
That gets very subjective because people have personal tastes on
Yeah, I
that.
don't think so. It
Well,
depends,
we just
you know,
it's 3 inches. So is that a B or a C cup? What are we doing here?
Yeah.
But
That could get
one
complicated.
thing, Mike, on the D2 is my favorite EDC is a Gonzo Chinese knife.
Yep.
Love it. Perfect size, great. I you know, years ago, you know, drinking field party, cooking barbecued pork chops over top of the fire, cutting into it, forgot about it, you know, chucked the knife, you know, into my knife drawer, didn't carry it forever, pulled it out. It was the grossest thing ever. I like barbecue sauce down into the joints, take it apart, couple little pits in it, very little, you know, little copper brush, took it right off, and it worked, you know. And
All right.
you know, it was, I kept it in the house for sure, but you know, we're high humidity, all that stuff, but I've never had an issue with D2.
All right.
So
Well, you know,
don't get scared to give it some use.
well,
Yeah.
Mike brought up the good point, and this was kind of my flaw from the original idea that, well, there's no really perfect way to do the review. You know, the first impressions on unboxing, of course, it's brand new. You just bought it. It's going to be awesome. So that's why I wanted to do the 30 days in the pocket carry to get a better feel. But, you know, there's a lot of things we haven't had a lot of experience with it. To Mike's point, we haven't sharpened them or anything. So I'm not going to make this my dedicated carry anymore. It's going to be in the rotation, but I think we should revisit this in like 6 months or a year and say, I haven't carried it every day, but I carry it at least once or twice a week or whatever, or I go into a spurts where I carry it for 2 months straight or whatever. Get some miles under it and see where we're at. And we'll have to write down our proof here and see if the proof goes up or down with a little age on the barrel.
Yep. And I know you're wanting to talk about maybe ideas for the next one.
Yeah, that was going to be the second half of the video or the stream. Well, I guess it's a video. Unless anyone has any more thoughts on this guy.
One thing I really like the pocket clip. I got to say that, and especially as I got the you know, the rat here, and there's some subtle differences, but normally I'm carrying Victorinox, I'm carrying Swiss Army knives, and those don't have clips. Those are just jingling around in the pockets and stuff. But given, you know, whether it's, and I got shorts on right now, whether it's mesh shorts, whether it's dress pants, whether it's jeans, I had no issues with that pocket clip at all. It worked good. It didn't, there's a knife that I have. It's a Kershaw Atmos, and it is like one of the cheapest and best lightweight flippers you'll ever find. It's stupid light. The action on it's awesome. But I have had that pocket clip catch on on like the chair or the couch. I've had it bend, and it's just a pain in the ass. I love the knife, but the pocket clip sucks on it. And I'm not the biggest fan of the pocket clip on the Rat 2 and the Rat 1. I got both of those. But this, and I got 2 other Civivis. I like their pocket clips. They're good. It's not anything. They're not the wire ones. They're not too thick. They're not just the bend, the angle, everything, the tension. It's good. I was happy with that.
I agree.
Cool. Yep. Yeah, I would agree. It's my favorite pocket clips on my little native Spyderco. I like that spoon style one, but this is a solid clip. It's everything you said. It holds the knife in place quite well. Whether I'm wearing blue jeans, Dockers at work, or the 511 style hiking pants. That's pretty much the 3 pants I wear. Holds it in place fine, and to your point, it doesn't catch on anything either. So it's a well balanced clip. It's that's definitely a thing for the knife guys, is something that's usually an afterthought on a lot of knives, is when they get them right, it's right. Like I mentioned before, when I'm holding it in the hand, there's no hot spots caused by it. That's key too. That was my other. That reminded me. That was my one minor complaint before, as this only has one mounting option for your clip. You can't put it on the left hand side, or if you want to have it tipped down or anything. So, but most people carry it tip up on your right side. So this is, again, a minor.
Yeah, I never paid attention to that.
I'm not tipped down. Like, I've had some Gerbers and stuff that were tipped down and didn't like it. The tip up is my favorite.
Yeah.
Greg, this question's right up your alley.
I don't know any chaps, but trying to imagine it. I guess you just put it between that right butt cheek cut out, right?
If I'm wearing the leather chaps, I'm probably going to put it around my neck and tuck it into my blouse, right? Like,
there you go. That works. All right. So, do we want to talk about ideas for the next one?
Yeah.
Let's do it. Make it quick. Make it.
All right.
EDC shit, right?
Yeah.
It's awesome, right? So, what do we EDC? Wallets, cell phones, pocket knives. We're not doing firearms on here. Flashlights for sure.
Yep. And we want to keep it budget friendly,
Yeah, something we can afford to do, and you guys can afford to do, and if you want to play along.
Or pens. I'd throw pens in there too.
Yeah.
I'm not a pen guy. I got a couple, but like it's
I'm a pen guy.
But you had those out earlier, so I figured I'd just throw that.
Well, what do we want to do?
Jason says cheap AAA sell flashlights.
I was looking at rechargeable flashlights earlier, but
well, even like now, like I have some flashlights that come with a rechargeable AA. Not a AAA, but it's a AA, where you just plug it into USB-C, and so it's like a rechargeable flashlight, but you're plugging straight into the battery. Yeah, Norm says through Night Archer Pro S, which is pretty sweet thrower. It's a pocket thrower, so if you want something bright for a good price, those are nice.
All right, let's.
I own 2 because I bought one for my wife, and she lost it. And then she goes, "You need to buy me a good flashlight." I'm like, "I bought you one. I don't know where it's at." And I bought her one. As soon as I bought it, now I have two.
Archer Pro S.
I might have this. I might have one of these.
Norm or
I got an Archer Mini.
Okay.
I'm getting Through Nights.
I got I got quite a few Through Night. I like Through Night stuff.
Through Night is a really good one.
Okay. So
they're like Olight's fantastic, right?
sure.
But if and they're not like overly expensive, but they're not like surefire Streamlight price, It kind of goes. So if you're looking for something that's kind of a name, it's Throughlight, Streamlight, Surefire, or Through Night, Olight, Streamlight, Surefire. It's kind of your prices.
Was Jason wanting a AA or AAA?
He said triple.
He said AAA, but
okay,
you're kind of looking into like more of the pin light stuff.
Yeah.
At that point.
Yep.
Because I thought this one kind of caught my eye.
It's not a through light, but it looks very similar.
Oh, it's not.
Yeah.
Because
I have something very similar. It's a through. When I was looking at my Amazon orders, and I just saw the light the other day. It's a Through Night Mini. It's very similar like that. It's a rechargeable USB-C. It's got that I forget what you call that type of the clip, so that you can use it as a pocket clip, or you can clip it to the brim of your hat.
Yeah, it's kind of like the reverse.
Mhm.
Yeah, and it's got the tail switch.
So one thing I like on a flashlight is I like the on and off being on the tail switch.
You do like a tail switch? Okay.
But
Mhm.
if it has multiple modes, I like having a separate button for it.
Okay.
With like the memory. So like if I turn it on, it's on medium mode, and I turn it off and I turn it back on. If it's still on that medium mode, I really like that. But these smaller Through Nights, you're not going to get that from there. So you got to kind of cycle through the brightness modes, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's what I have. The Through Night Mini. And it's a rechargeable, and I think it's USB-C.
All right. Well, before you guys hopped on, I was looking at rechargeable or flashlights here.
I was looking at which one I had here in the shack. This one is haven't opened it yet because I got a few of them. This is a Through Night Saber.
This is the one I was looking at. This is a little bigger. I think you brought this one up.
Oh, that's the Phoenix, yeah.
Phoenix.
Yep.
Phoenix rocks.
What caught my eye, this is like $100 light, but it's on sale for the next 30 days for $75, which is, but to Greg's point, it's got the tail cap function, but you got your settings on a separate.
Yep.
So separate button. So if you set it to a setting, it has that memory mode. So if you turn it off, it's going to come back to the same setting.
Mm-hmm.
Which is pretty sweet.
There's a couple other neat things about that style. If you look at the tail switch, it looks like you got those flares or whatever. So you should be able to stand it up on its end. Unlike the Through Night Mini or some of the other taillight switches.
Sure.
So you should be able to stand it on its end. And then it does look like it's got kind of like that crown bezel too, where if you...
So I figured that, like the end
nice.
and the front, it's for crushing skulls, right?
Yep.
No, I'm just joking. But also on the bezel over the tail switch, that keeps you from accidentally turning it on.
Yeah.
Yes. And that's what has happened with that. I like that Through Night Mini, but I have the few times that I've carried that out, I've I'm out at like a bar or something, and like one of my buddies like, oh, you have a light on in your pocket, like, and it's like,
Been there.
Like my eyes are up here. Come on, no, but like it's I've activated it so many times
Yeah.
where I didn't want to.
Exactly.
Oh wow, this is a bright one. It's got 5 lumen echo, 50 lumen low, 150 medium. That's about as bright as I ever get. High is 600, and it has a turbo of 1700. That's
Is that what
crazy.
you like that one, Shane?
IP68 rating. It's a little spendy, but well, for a tactical style for a tactical style flashlight, $75 is a pretty good deal.
And what is it? Do you say does it have a removable battery, or is it just a built-in USB-C? Is it like one of the 18650s?
I would imagine it's like a, I don't know. I would assume it's like a rechargeable CR123.
Yeah, so like I have some that are like, it uses like 3 CR123s or one 18650.
Mm-hmm. Lithium ion, excuse me. I don't know, but
It says somewhere.
yeah, we could figure it out. What do you guys think? Is this something?
It does show a USB charger there, so.
Yep. Yes, USB charging.
I don't know. It's a little bit up there, but I've always wanted to try Phoenix stuff. I've seen it. They were kind of the brand that came out before Olight that was making affordable stuff. So I don't own one, and I kind of like to.
Well, I started looking at Phoenix because I think you and I were talking like on Discord or Zoom a long time ago, Greg, that Phoenix makes a decent one. I've never seen one like this. I have some Surefires, some Streamlights, some Olights. I've never seen a Phoenix, so $75 is a little bit more than I wanted to do for this, but it's like I said, under $100 for most people isn't too crazy. So if anybody wants to play along, what do you think, Mike?
Yeah, I'm scrolling through now. I'm looking at some of the photos from the reviews and stuff, and whatnot. But I've never had Phoenix. I got a couple Olights, a couple Through Nights. I got a WowTac, which I don't know if WowTac is a thing anymore, but WowTac was like the budget version of the Through Night and stuff. And no, is it USB-C? I didn't check to see. I know it's rechargeable. Is this USB-C? Does it say?
It says easy to charge, USB-C.
Okay.
USB rechargeable. It's not saying which type, but it's got to be C, right? Nobody's using the.
Well,
it does, like, if you look at that picture, I'm zooming in. It might look like a micro USB.
Okay.
Which, we all have 10 of those laying around in drawer.
Yeah.
But not sure.
Rechargeable.
Oh, there you see that. What's this? This is a 35 or something, right? So that's USB-C port. Okay. Okay.
Well, all the rest of them say USB-C port, but this one just says rechargeable battery. So I would assume, being that the
so this is you're gonna take the battery out to charge it, yeah.
Well, maybe you do. I don't know.
That's what I was trying to get a handle on.
Yeah. Well, like
we're doing it live.
Yeah, the similar models all say USB-C, so I'm under the impression that it's probably USB-C. Or else it might be like you're saying you have to take the battery out to charge it, which wouldn't be the end of the world. But
No, I got plenty of chargers. It says it comes with the contents is it comes with charging cable. So
yeah, well, it's
good content. That's what it is.
what does the AI say? Does it say anything? Where's the 1-star reviews? That's where somebody will bitch about it.
Yeah.
I don't see anyone complaining about it. So I would imagine it's not a deal breaker. I mean, obviously I prefer USB-C, but oh, one guy was complaining. This one claims to be 18650. So it doesn't like the battery.
Okay, it's the battery, I think. I'm looking at it says the new PD35V3 includes a USB rechargeable ARB-L18. Recharged by plugging in the charging cord directly into the port in the top of the ARB L18. Is ARB L18, is that a battery? It's what it looks like. So
Yeah.
there's a battery in there. Yeah. So you charge it, the battery. I mean, the goods, I'd say the thing with the batteries that then you can buy other batteries and you can easily swap things out. Sometimes when you have the battery, it's a little bit of an inconvenience, but I would imagine that it might add a layer of protection, waterproofing or something from the elements if you don't have like a cheap little rubber gasket covering it or something. So it's, there's trade-offs with all this
exactly
stuff. But yeah, it looks like, I'm guessing it's the battery that's
all right.
What's rechargeable?
I'm looking on here too for $80. You could get another one.
Yeah, I just see that. That's where I just
definitely USB-C. That's the one I'm looking at right now.
3100.
It does say USB-C for sure.
Yeah. And this one seems to be similar. It's got the,
it looks a little smaller, most likely, but.
All right. Yep.
That's got a little protection on the tail there.
Yep.
Which is nice.
And this one doesn't look okay. This one's $5 more, but I like that it's USB-C.
Yeah, we don't have to make a decision right now, but because there's so many. But so you think you want to do flashlights for next time?
I think so. Well, I'd like to do it and make the decision now, so that way anybody that sees this,
okay.
we can, and I can do a teaser video too.
Sure, let's do it. Let's do that one. Which one do you guys like from those two we just looked at?
This one. Yeah, this one's not as tactical.
This one's 3100 lumens. Wasn't the other one lower?
Yeah, it was like 1700. Yeah, this one's a lot brighter.
Yeah.
That's what $5 gets you,
IP68 rating.
Let's rock and let's do it. I'm ordering it right now.
All right, Greg says make it happen.
I'll get it by Friday.
All right, it's in my cart. No, I don't want protection.
Yeah.
Well, it is done. That will be the one.
You sure about it?
Yeah, I'm game.
All right. Well, I just went ahead and bought it. Fuck it. I'll have it for Friday.
All right. You're just gonna have to catch it on the replay, Norm.
I added it to the shopping list. I didn't purchase it tonight.
Yeah.
I'm gonna wait and see what kind of damage I do this weekend in Dayton.
Yeah.
Well,
That's the only reservation.
I have to get it while I'm buzzed. You know what I mean? My wife's already mad, so.
But no, I like what I see. So
yeah, I do too.
I've wanted a Phoenix for a long time. I know if you're getting an 18650 battery off Amazon, that Phoenix is one of the best like actual true power out of that battery that you could get.
Okay.
See many reviews on those, so pretty good. Cheers.
I just put a link in the chat, and I'll add a link to the description to this, and I'll probably cut this out and make a standalone video. So if anybody wants to play along, no obligation, but the second Wednesday of June, that's next month, I think that'll work. We'll do an unboxing, and if you want to play along at home, and we'll do that. Carry this thing for a month and see what we think of it.
So that's how you're doing it. You're going to unbox it in June and then carry it June to July. Then do the review. Gotcha.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, it's a 2-part video. We'll get like the unboxing, the first impressions, and go over it. Then we'll carry it daily or as often as you can for a month, and then come back and just do like we did here and see what we think of it.
Mm-hmm.
Nor,
like we said, if you got an idea for it, Norm, he lives right next to Amazon warehouse.
Mine's in the shopping cart. I won't do my Amazon purchase for the month until closer towards the end, but I will have it before the second Wednesday in June, and we'll talk about it then.
I'd hate to see my Amazon cart at the end of the month. I like to order it right then. I don't know how much I spend for the month, but holy, that when you push that button, it's $400. You're like, what the hell am I getting?
That's why I make the purchase once a month. It keeps me from nickel and diming myself to death. Try to be responsible.
That's probably a good way. I'm just total impulse.
Yeah.
Whether it's something as stupid as like, oh, I need some coffee to, buy some gear or whatever, you know. But I just got some stuff today, or it's something I got a backpack today, but I'm sending it back. I just didn't like the way it fit, which is a bummer because I was trying to get something last minute to wear around Hamvention. But
sure.
Yeah, what did you send back? What was it?
I didn't send it back yet. I put it back in the packaging. I'll have to wait till I get back. I got an Osprey Daylight Plus backpack. The one backpack that I've had since college. I forget the brand or whatever, and it's held up fine. But I thought about getting something nicer, and I just felt. And I'm a big guy. I'm 6'2", 280. So like
we've met.
And yeah, there, yeah. Is that the Daylight?
Yep.
Plus. I just felt it was like a little too small for me. And I was like, nope, this isn't what this isn't the one. If I'm spending $70, $80, I'm like, I don't know that this is the one, and I'd spend more. on something if it just had that feel, but it's the same way I am with clothes. Like I'm a big and tall guy. Like if I got to get it, I don't know sometimes till I actually try it on or throw it on and stuff like that. But
Oh crap!
it was
guys.
nice and I got a good deal on it. But
we're gonna have to start over.
Oh geez.
Yeah. All right, from the beginning. Hey Mike, how's it going?
It's good. Thank you for having me tonight, Shane. Yeah, but I put a bunch of stuff in it, and I was running up and down the stairs and walking around the house real quick. I was to get an idea of is this going to work for walking around Dayton with and everything, and then
did that feel too small?
It did. The shoulder straps felt very thin. I like that it did have the chest and it did have the waist, and I could tell the difference with how I could adjust it so how it would ride up correctly, but it just felt a little too small, even with that stash shelf pocket, like trying to put my coat, and again 6'2", 280, trying to put like a double X Eddie Bauer raincoat in there. Like it was like, oh, that's a smaller stash pocket than I was expecting.
That stash pocket's pretty small.
And the backpack that I have, I think it's like High Sierra or something. And again, this is like I had this thing in college over 20 years ago, and it's still held up, which is good, I guess. But for all I know, it's a old school Walmart brand. But that has the those straps underneath the pack, and like I could throw my coat there because it rains all the time, and it's going to rain one of the days I'm out in Ohio.
Oh yeah.
And after I take the coat off, I don't want to put it in with anything I purchased or my mic or any of the gear that's in there. So I want to keep it on the outside, and it's things like that. But sometimes you don't know till you mess around and find out.
Yeah, for me, I'm a little smaller frame guy, and that Daylight Plus, that's my day hike pack for the winter, because I can fit my essentials in there, and then in a puffer jacket and some extra stuff. And you'll see that one on occasion on the Scout 75 channel when I do a hike in Poda or a Soda, because I'll use that for carrying my radio gear, because my 891 will fit in that just about perfectly. Okay. Along up a roll up with my hiking essentials, and a roll up with the coax and antennas and stuff. So a lot of my hiking Podas that I do, I got my radio in that.
Okay.
So if you dig through that channel, you'll I think I did a video too just on it, because somebody asked about it. So
yeah, you probably watched Tom Tango Oscar Mike's stuff.
Oh, absolutely.
And he just reviewed in his he got a Camelback pack, and I think that was like around $100. So it was a little bit more. That's why I went with the Osprey, and I think I got the idea for the Osprey from Josh from Ham Radio Crash Course, or it might have been you. It was one of the two of you.
Yeah, Josh was a good. He's an Osprey fan as well,
and it seemed great. Like I said, it just seemed a little small for me. But I might have to check out the Camelback and stuff. My only reservation was that had like a bigger waist belt and everything, which might be nice for some hiking and everything else. I had this envisioned for ham fests, and even maybe going back and forth to work with, instead of I have a Timbuktu messenger bag that I keep my laptop in and some other stuff, and it was a pricey bag, but it's held up like for almost a decade now, and it was totally worth it. Buy once, cry once kind of deal, like a Tom Bin or something. Yeah, you mentioned, and
and Eric brings up a good. Sorry to sidetrack you, but Best Damn EDC. That's if you're into EDC, that's a great channel to watch.
Let's do the damn thing. Yeah.
Yep. Let's do the damn thing. That guy is fun. Yeah. I'll bring up that Osprey again, just for some people. What Mike's talking about is the slash pocket here.
Yeah.
That comes out. You're not fitting the jacket in there, but you could probably do a hack and cut that and make it a true beaver tail and put stuff in there, but it is a pretty small pack.
Yeah.
There's some things I don't like about it, but
I would look like Dora Explorer.
Oh yeah,
that thing.
This would be a fanny pack for you, Greg. But
yeah,
but it's nice and light because if you need some, it has a very small waist strap that you could use. Oftentimes, I just hook it up and have it behind me. It has the sternum straps. The straps are nice and light. They're wide, so they support your weight just fine, but they're not super cushy.
They're thin. Yeah.
And when you bring up Tom for Tango Oscar Mike, he brought that up too, where you get the packs that are nice and flush and real spongy because they're full of foam. You get them wet and those things suck then because they take forever to dry out and everything. So I'm a big fan of having a wider strap versus a cushier one,
Okay.
And yeah, I should have watched Tom's video because I was looking at that camelback pack that he has. Is like, yeah, I can see getting that. And then I remind myself I literally have a room full of hiking and camping gear, and I got probably, I don't want to think about how many backpacks I have. So no, I'm not going to get one. But
I always used to joke, like, whether it's knives, antennas, radio, when I find the perfect one, I'll stop buying them.
Oh yeah.
But
it's like holsters. I actually had to. It's like holsters. You're always trying to look for one that's better.
Yep.
And I actually had to just go buy a fucking bin to put all my holsters in. Like, gosh, it's like how much money I spend on this crap. $50 here, $50 there.
Oh yeah.
Over 20 years. You just have, I could start a shop and just sell this stuff, I guess.
Oh yeah. But that's the thing when you get into the hobbies. Yeah. There's always the limits is your checkbook or how much debt you want to go into, because we always do that. It's like, all right, this ham radio has everything I want. It's all I need. Oh, did you hear the news? Yaesu or ICOM just came out with a new radio. And it's like, oh, okay, I'll get that one, but that's the last one. And the same thing with backpacks and knives and guns and holsters and fishing rods, golf clubs, you name it. As soon as you find the perfect one, somebody else comes out with a new one. And you're like, okay, I'll make up the excuse in my head why that one I need, even though I'm perfectly fine with this one, and that'll be the last one I'll buy. I promise. And it's a vicious circle.
Yep. Yeah, and a lot of these things can be purpose built, whether it's the knives or the flashlights, or if it's ham radio, if it's antennas and different, portable radios, HTs, base stations, whatever. It's all purpose, but you think about how you're going to use stuff. You actually do have to use it, and does it fit your needs, or does it, and then does it fit your budget?
Yes,
and everything. At the end of the day, I don't need all the radios, antennas, knives, and everything that I have, but I enjoy them. They do bring me joy, and they do get used, including this now, which had been sitting in the chest for 2 years with little attention. So that it's fine, and there's no silver bullet for any of this stuff. It's,
right.
Everyone's different. Like I said, with the budget, your use case, it doesn't matter. It's your size.
And then, for all these hobbies, they come up with their own little cultures and communities and stuff, and you can always pay it forward. I've given away or sold at a discount price hiking gear and ham radio gear and stuff to somebody else, and I've bought stuff on deals from somebody else for the same thing, where it's I have 3 of these things. I use the same one all the time. somebody needs to have one of these other two, and it works its way out. It's just just don't get crazy with it. And then I do, this goes in with my portable ham radio and backpacking and stuff. Is I like to keep my kits as modular as possible, so there's not a lot of repeat stuff. Boy, if I knew this was going to come up, I would have grabbed it, but my day pack's in my truck and I don't want to run away. But I brought up, this is my winter day pack for just a quick 2-3 hour hike. Just carry the essentials. For my summer, I got one that's slightly smaller, and in that I have one of my secret weapons, speaking of Osprey, is these roll-up pouches.
Okay.
I don't know if you're familiar with these. What they are is this is like a shower bag for them. They got a little hook that comes out so you can hang it on a tree or in your hotel room, bathroom. A couple of mesh pockets, and then a deeper zipper pocket.
Okay.
2 more pockets here, and it just literally.
It's kind of like with tool bags.
So that's more like you were saying, like a shower bag, not so much like one of those rolling tool pouches and stuff.
Yeah, it's basically a shower bag.
Yeah.
So I have a couple of these, as you can see here, for ham radio, where I'll keep like an antenna and stuff, and it. I got more over there, but I'll keep antennas, coax, a tuner, whatever, all in a nice little compact thing.
That's nice. I like that.
And one that's with that I wanted to show you is like all my hiking essentials. Like some fire starter, basic first aid kit, headlamp, spare batteries, that kind of stuff. If I kit out, like a lot of people, that stuff that you always have, you always leave it in your backpack. And if you have 2, 3, 5 different backpacks, well, now you got 5 first aid kits, 5, waterproof blankets, and 5 whatever. I just keep all that in one of that rollout, so that way when I go from my winter day pack to my summer, I just take that whole rollout, put it in that pack.
Okay.
If I'm going to go on a weekend, an overnight weekend trip, I got a bigger pack, I'll put that in there. If I'm going on a 7-day hike for the whole weekend, I put it in there. That way, like the stuff that'll expire, like your medicines, your allergy pills and stuff like that, I don't have to keep track of that in 5 different locations. I don't have to worry about forgetting stuff. I don't have to worry about batteries in the headlamp going dead because that pack sat idle for 6 months. It's always being maintained. It's always going with me. It goes with me when I'm doing the ham radio, the back hiking parks on the air. I bring it with, so it's always with me, and it's less stuff and less cost because I'm not buying 5 headlamps and 5 starter kits and 5 knives and stuff like that. So it's just a little thing.
Well, sorry to have to jump, guys, but I gotta get the kiddos to bed and all that good stuff. So
yeah, and it looks like others gotta leave too, and I think we've gone on. We're just kind of rambling now, but it's a good time. I had fun.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah, it was great.
Cool. And it seems there's been a few people that stuck around. So
Scotch is almost gone too, man.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
Oh, it is. Yeah, it's done.
I finished off that little bit in here, but I didn't crack open the Oak Grove, so.
This is the last.
All right, so then we timed it perfectly. All right, so I think this will be the last time we do this on the Scout 75. Maybe, I don't know, maybe we still do it.
Drop the link to your other channel.
yeah, it's the Scout Life channel. Again, I was going to have like that in the links and everything, but I'll do better.
Ooh.
All right. Since it's so far as the 3 ham radio guys, I guess next month let's do it one more time on the Scout 75 as well, and then I'll be prepared and have some links and stuff for everything.
Change is never easy.
I'm just it's just been crazy with work and everything. So
yeah.
All right. That's all I got to say. How about you, Mike?
Hey, if anyone watching is heading out to Hamvention, look for me. Love to meet you, say hi, and I'm really looking forward to it, and it's a blast. Hopefully, and I know I get to see Greg out there. I think it was last year, because I think you and Norm were out there last year. Shane's yet to be out there. Hopefully, I see you out there soon. But I would love to get out to the Wisconsin camping trip. That camp out that you, KB9VBR, and others do. I have never been out that far.
It's in October.
And I would love to get out for that. That'd be awesome. And I'm starting to get interested in some of the camping stuff. So I've been watching some of that stuff on YouTube. So we'll see what happens. But anyway, yeah, that's what's going on with me, man.
Well, reach out to me if you have time this October. You too, Greg. I don't know what there is for campsites, but we can always figure something out. And there's, a short drive away. There's hotel rooms and everything, so we can make something work.
Yeah. Or just sleep in the grass outside Shane's teardrop.
Yeah, just do it the Norm style and just stumble out in the woods and sleep next to a log, like he did at Huntsville the first year.
Yeah, I got a Subaru Outback last year, and I've been like watching some stuff about like car camping and like overnight or so in the Outback, and
yeah,
but being 6'2", it's
I don't know. I had a 02 Forester that my brother Dan still drives, and just laying those back seats down.
Yeah,
it's perfect length for I'm 6'3". I could make it work.
Okay. Yeah.
So you'll be good. Throw a mat on top of that, and you're good to go. Long as it's not raining, you can crack the window.
Sure.
Yep.
All right, Greg. How about you? Anything?
Yeah, nothing. No, check me out on the Scout 75 channel.
All right.
Checking off. We'll put out a video next year.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks everybody for hanging out with us, and we'll keep trying this format. I think it's a fun way to do it.
Too much talk for just one fork by Southern Culture on the skids now playing. Sorry, there was a problem with Apple Music.
For some reason, Siri just started yakking at me. I don't know why.
I thought that was your Radio Shack Cube or whatever. The dew point is 7.5.
I don't know why that happened because I have that turned off. But all right, technology, awesome. With that, thanks for watching, folks. We'll catch you later.
See you guys.
Bye.